This is the High Flying Podcast where we be drop kicking it with the boys. So make sure to body slam that like, share, and subscribe button. I am your host, Biggie Bag Johnny, and today we are going over my favorite. I'm not gonna lie to you, I've done this one 3 times already. The first one, the mic wasn't really working. It was all fucked up. And then the second time, it just wasn't recording. And then this is the third time. We've done this 3 times. I know this story from front to back, goddammit. Alright, so we're going to try and do this one more fucking time. Just to see how it goes. Just to see where we at with it. This is the dark side of the ring with Abdullah the Butcher. Let me tell you about this story right here. This one is going to rub you wrong. This one is going to make you think about everybody you fuck with. This one right here, it definitely made me feel bad. But at the end, towards the end of this, man, you're going to feel like everybody's full of shit. You know what I mean? Like I said, I did this 3 times already. So I know for a fact this one is going to work. I know we're still a little laggy. We're trying to get this under control. We do not know what the fuck is going on. Hopefully we'll figure it out. I don't know if it's because it's like a YouTube thing. So that, you know, like, I know you guys can hear me. We're going to get the story straightened out. We're going to do everything that we can. I'm trying to buy the best internet possible. It's still not working, but fuck it. Here it is. Abdullah the Butcher, The Legacy of Blood, Dark Side of the Ring, fucking episode fucking whatever. Alright, we're here now. So let's hopefully all of this shit goes through today, so that way I can just upload it and go to the next one. Like I said, 3rd time's the charm. So let's get into it. Here it goes.
Abdullah the Butcher was like a nightmare come to life. He terrified people.
Just a savage, bloody, thirsty machine.
Trying to rip the eyeball.
When Abdullah walks to the ring, you know you're going to get blood. Every match he was in, he bled. You bled.
Oh my God, right on the head.
One of the most infamous wrestlers of all time, Abdullah the Butcher, left a legacy of violence and bloodshed wherever he went, from Puerto Rico to Japan and across North America.
It's Abdullah! Think about what he's experiencing. He's getting cooked.
You can't think of a heel that was bigger than Abdullah. You can't.
Let me just say, ladies and gentlemen, that Abdullah the Butcher, his character was based on a certain time. You gotta understand, Abdullah would never fucking make it in this age of time. Like the blood and all of that shit and the way that he moves and everything, guys, it wouldn't make it in 2023 at all. As much as I respect him, I almost had a chance to meet him. I chose to not. I was actually doing an interview with Tito Santana, but Abdullah is, you know, he's a part of an era, all right, that it was right time, right place, right moment. So just to let you guys know,
He made money everywhere he went.
But the more money we made, the more danger we had to face.
Even though Abdullah was playing a character, inside that was him.
He would have people with slingshots hitting him and then throwing things at him because they think he's hurt to death.
I hate this nigga's voice. I said this twice before. Every time I hear this motherfucker's voice, I think it's one of his sisters or somebody, but it's his motherfucking brother. And I do not understand why the motherfucker he sounds like that. God damn it.
Fans at ringside, when he got too close, I mean, they were running.
Everybody's bloodthirsty. Everybody is bloodthirsty. They want it.
Notorious for blurring the line between reality and fiction, Abdullah remained a mystery even to those closest to him.
See, you all know the wrestler. You don't know the person.
He's a hero all the time. He was a very good person.
In a gruesome but successful career spanning 7 decades, Abdullah's thirst for blood made him infamous, but also led to his downfall.
He cost me my WWE career. That was a fact. The Hep C caused me not to have my WWE contract. You're a piece of shit, and I hope that when you die a really slow and painful death.
Jesus Christmas, guy. Fuck! Dark side of the ring, man. Abdullah the Butcher, legacy of the blood, yeah. Alright, all these niggas was weirdos back in the days. For some reason, they like to like lick their hands after the fucking... Bro, I wouldn't lick my hands after touching a canned soda. And the chicken is good. I wouldn't do it. But these niggas insist on licking the fucking blood off their fingers once they just cut the motherfucker before. And this is pre-AIDS. Like, this is like everybody knowing what's going on in the world, bro. Like, these niggas is weird, boy.
Abdullah the Butcher would come into a regional wrestling territory and just set business on fire.
Blood everywhere!
The difference between Abdullah and everyone else is when anyone else came into the territory, fans were rooting for their favorite to win. When Abdullah came in, they were rooting for their favorite to survive.
Oh, what a vicious chop. He's getting ready to carve up a steak there.
Hello, I'm Mick Foley,
Yo.
sometimes known as the Hardcore Legend, and I have been involved with professional wrestling since 1985.
Let's go, man.
I knew of the legend of Abdullah because in those days, you learned about people outside of your geographic area largely by the magazines. And the magazines painted this amazing portrait of this unstoppable monster. I was so intrigued by Abdullah the Butcher that the first thing I did when I got to college as a freshman is I put a black and white photo of him on the wall and began to tell the entire dormitory that he was my father.
Well, you have those.
All right, I already seen this 3 times, so I'm gonna say it again for the fourth, fifth time. Why is Mick Foley going around campus being the weird kid? You're white as shit, and Abdullah the Butcher's black. There's no resemblance. So Mick, not only was you just a weird kid, and I'm sure you had 2 ears at that time. Not only was you the weird kid, you were the weird kid that lied about random shit, boy. Now, Mick, Alright. Mick, we're not going to do that no more, okay? I'm just saying.
Taekwondo, karate pants, and you see him with a fork with all those gigantic cuts, and he opens those big eyes, and you see him on promos eating liver and the blood of the liver coming out. That's Abdullah the Butcher, and he was unstoppable. My name is Hugo Sabinovich. I'm from Guayaquil, Ecuador, and I've been in this passionate industry for close to 50 years, and I will do it again. Love Lucha Libre. No one was safe.
Here he comes again. He hits Bronco.
Not the referee, not the owner of the company. He will put fear into your body, into your brain, your soul.
What's happening in here? Can you explain to everybody what you're watching?
Yeah, eating the raw meat, chicken.
She don't even know what the fuck is going on. All right, she want to sit here and like, yeah, you know what I mean? She still don't know what the fuck is going on, all right? She's just watching her brother going ape shit on a fucking piece of fucking chicken, and she's just like, why? Just why? You know what I mean? But that was Abdullah. If y'all niggas know Abdullah, he was doing the most weirdest shit back in the days, and that's what made him stand out. But this right here, there's right here, this little picture right here, this is my thing, right? It worked, so nobody's gonna say anything. But if this shit happened today and it was getting over, Jim Cornette would fucking flip. Oh my God! You know what I mean?
And he could even take a phone book.
I hate when the families and friends of the wrestlers always gotta lie. So listen to this. Like I said, I watched this 3 times. This is a couple days old. This is about a week old right now. I've never found a video. I've never found another person saying that they seen Abdullah do this. But for some reason, she just felt like she had to put this in there. Like, I feel like if he had this talent, they should have made it a motherfucking priority to show this. Or make it like a valuable part. They're everywhere on this one. But fuck, this is the one right here. You know what I mean?
And tear it in half.
You liar.
Mm-hmm. My name's Josephine Heron Shreve. Abdullah the Butcher is my brother. Windsor at that time when I was growing up, I always say that's old school.
That's old school.
And it was like we was raised in a 2-bedroom house, wartime house. There was 8 of us. 2 or 3 of us slept in a bed together. I had my...
First of all, let me tell you how that's very possible, okay? If there's 3 girls, 3 boys, and then 2 parents, okay? So that means 3 go into the room, 3 go into another room, and then the parents share the room. Girls go with the girls, guys go with the guys. It's not really that bad. In a 2-bedroom, I was doing it in a 3-bedroom, and it wasn't really that bad. Because, you know, my moms and pops had their room and things like that. So, you know, like that shit, I'm sorry. My bad.
Own room, because I slept in the bathtub. I had a cushion to put in there. My father and I have to go to the bathroom. They piss in a can. My mother had to come in the washroom. She knock on the door, and I get out of the tub and let her in. Because I don't think my mother wanted to piss in a can.
Not
okay,
after she
that's
got
what
her
it
cheeks
was.
bust.
My name is Ralph Shreves. I am Larry Paul Shreves' brother as Abdullah the Butcher. I call him Larry. That's his name to me. Abdullah the Butcher is his money name, his wrestling name.
His wrestling name.
If you ever interview him, you just look at his damn head. Do you ever interview him? Oh, there you go then. I guess he tells the truth, but I'll tell you one thing. There, I think you should be better off talking to him a longer distance. You have your ass jump up in 1 minute. And you scared to death. He's a good actor.
Oh yeah, we just gotta...
I wanted to take it off to say, oh, I got my hat off. Let me take my hat off.
Looking good.
There he is.
There he is.
Oh, it really is you.
Yeah, that's it. My name is Larry Shreve. My other wrestling name is Abdullah the Butcher.
Yo,
I'm from Khartoum, Sudan. But now, since I'm pretty near out, I'm from Khartoum, Sudan, Windsor, Ontario.
Your parents had to take care of a lot of kids. Like, was it challenging?
Oh, they worked hard. My mother worked hard. My dad worked hard.
Yeah.
When I see my mother on the floor, scrubbing floors, you know, at a funeral home, I said to myself, holy shit. My mother works hard, but I never knew that she was on her hands and knees until I went there. I didn't want to learn how to read or write because I was only worried about my mother and father. I wanted to make money. I used to buy candy, 3 for a penny, go to school, and you want to buy some candy, right? I'd sell it for maybe a penny a piece or whatever. Where the kids owed me money, and I said, when are you gonna pay me my money? So maybe he got scared, like I was gonna do something, right? So he wouldn't go to school. Maybe his mother came and says, my kid is scared to come to school.
Okay, so this is the third time I'm watching this. I have to stress that because goddamn. Now, this is the third time I'm watching this, but as I'm listening to this, that candy had to be drugs. It had to be drugs. You're not going to tell me that, nigga, I'm running kids off of school and having their parents come in for a fucking annihilator. Annihilator. You know what I mean? No. That nigga owed me a dime, nigga. He owed me... I broke that shit down. He told me he had me on store day, bro. It's 2 days past. Nigga, meet me at the motherfucking playground because you got me fucked up, nigga. I gave you that motherfucking cocaine. I gave you that motherfucking sack of weed. Nigga, I needs my money. My mama scrubbing her motherfucking kneecaps off, nigga. I needs that, man.
And that was it. Then I said, I gotta get out of here and try to make some, money where I don't have a problem. And that's what I done.
So Larry only finished the second grade?
He only finished the grade second. I was a year smarter than him, and I'm not really that smart myself. But I'm saying we done a lot. Larry, he went to people's houses knocking on their door and asking for old clothes and all that. And he had a second-hand store with all kinds of old clothes, and he had a store.
He shined shoes for years. Then he got a janitorial service, business.
He had people cutting grass and all that. He had a truck where he went around moving stuff out of people's basements and all that. He was a worker.
Let's just say he was always a hustler.
Bam! There it goes right there. He was always a hustler. Let's just say he was always a hustler. That nigga was slinging that dope, man. He was slinging them rocks, man. That nigga was slinging them tweeds, man. The fuck? You think that shit came from... Nah, nigga, he got into it with a gangbang. You know what I mean? Gave that nigga a couple $150s across the forehead. I'm just fucking with y'all niggas. I really don't know. He probably was slinging some candy. Crack cocaine candy.
He been in the karate and all that. He had a karate place where, like senior citizens, he trained them to learn how to defend themselves. That's right in...
Let me tell you something. I'm sorry. Niggas that have been to the penitentiary and that have nothing going for themselves are the most successful niggas. You want to know why? Because while niggas like me is out here being a dumbass, dedicating my life to all these schmillionaires, doing work, these motherfuckers said, fuck school, fuck work, I'm going to dedicate my life to myself, and they all made something. You don't need no education. This nigga dropped out of the second grade. I went all the way to the 11th. And it took me 22 years for me to get up on my motherfucking feet. No, I'm about to quit, drop my 401k. I'm about to say, fuck my job, everything. Yeah, I'm about to go on and do my own shit and just do this shit because god damn it, man.
When you had about 8 or 9 old ladies in their 60s or 70s, and he had it where they could defend themselves. Just old people and that.
I was down at the Windsor Arena, and I was doing karate and stuff like that, and the manager of the place, he said, hey, you should be a wrestler. I said, oh, I don't want to do that crap. He said, you can make some money. I said, oh, okay.
Abdullah crosses the river to Detroit, where he meets the original Sheik, one of the innovators of hardcore wrestling.
Wait a minute, the Sheik has got that fire! How about that despicable act of fighting?
Abdullah playing an Arabic wrestler, they only had one at that time, and that was, they called him the Sheik. Not the Iron Sheik, the Sheik out of Detroit. He used to do all that stuff. You know, cut you with your forehead, walk around crazy.
Pulled out that fireball!
Hi, this is Mr. USA WWE Hall of Famer, Tony Atlas.
Let's go.
Grew up watching that the Sheik. He imitated the Sheik.
His eyes out of his camel clutch or anything of that nature. Wait a minute, that's my spot.
Corner post. Oh, this is a grudge match. This is war.
I told my dad, I said, Dad, I'm wrestling at Cobo Hall. My dad says, those are some dangerous people over there. My dad used to see me with cuts on my head. He told my mother, tell him that you better get out of that shit. I said, Dad, listen, smack me. He said, for what? I said, just smack me.
Nigga, you ain't gotta tell me twice, motherfucker.
see me bleeding. He said, I didn't hit you that hard. Then I showed him the blade. He said, now I know you're crazy.
Having learned this bloody trick of the trade, Abdullah travels the world showcasing his hardcore style. While working in Puerto Rico, he meets promoter Carlos Colon and his right-hand man, Hugo Savinovich.
I started working with Carlos, and they say, you're good, but you're not big enough. He says, I want to make you a manager. And then he says, by the way, we're bringing into Puerto Rico one monster, Abdullah the Butcher. And I have heard of him, and I said, wow. I mean, what a way to begin a managing career. Managing him, it was, just a crazy, crazy way of earning a living.
Everybody just going crazy here.
By 1983, he was already drawing gigantic money in the Caribbean islands and Puerto Rico. People will fill up the stadiums. Abdullah will make the promoter, Carlos Colon, look good. But at the same time, he will destroy him.
Perhaps the fear of being involved in this match.
Abdullah would wrestle in Puerto Rico for a couple of months. He wrestled in Japan for a couple of months. And then he would come back to the States.
Whoa.
And he was a big draw. I mean, he went, he drew money.
Abdullah was worth every penny that he got paid, and trust me, he was making huge money. He lived really like a rich guy.
Abdullah was very, very cautious of his money. When he got paid, as soon as you give it to him, he'd count it.
I made sure my mother and father, my brothers and sisters, got some of it. My mother used to work for the funeral home and stuff like that. I went there one day and I said, come on, Ma. She said, what? She said, I want you to meet Mrs. I said, I don't want to meet them. You understand? You're here scrubbing floors and stuff like that, and I'm supposed to be Abdullah the Butcher, and you're on your hands and knees scrubbing floors and stuff. From that day, she never worked another day in her life. And I made sure of that. But I was done.
Real nigga shit. That's all we want to do, man. We want to go pick up our moms, go pick up our girl, go pick up our siblings and everything. And we want to tell them, man, you ain't got to work no more. But in reality, motherfucker, you better go out there and make your own goddamn money, bitch. I'm sorry. I'm not taking care of nobody, ma. I understand you had to do what you had to do. Bitch, you still have to do it. That's the real world. You know what I mean? Because, motherfucker, when you're down, I'm pretty sure this shit is going to get dark. And best believe, I watched this 3 fucking times, all again, it's going to get dark.
Dumb. I didn't have the schooling. Like I tell you, if I know what I know now, everybody shafts me.
See? Boom.
Despite his successful and profitable rise to fame, Abdullah today finds himself in legal trouble and financial ruin.
What has the whole situation been like for you personally?
Hell. You don't know who in hell's working with you or working against you. You understand? I'm in bad shape. Real bad shape.
You always gotta be number one, man. I just said that.
And anybody, anywhere, that does not fear the name of the almighty Abdullah the Butcher is either an insane fool or they're lying to you.
With Larry Shreve, yeah, it could be really difficult for a fan to know where the character ends, where the real person begins.
He has reigned terror in the Russian
For someone who rode with him for hundreds of hours, you get to know the real guy or what he wants to show you of the real guy.
Abdullah the Butcher moves swiftly for a big man.
See, he always talk about he's an entertainer. He's entertaining you. But the real true person, you all don't know. My name is Jocelyn Malika Marshall.
Let's stop that right there. You see Jocelyn Malika Marshall, Abdullah's caregiver. All right, let's stretch that real quick. Okay, she's a caregiver. Yeah, okay. That means she's supposed to give care to Abdul. Okay, yeah. So let's keep that in mind as this story keeps going. Okay.
I met Abdullah while I was on the streets feeding the homeless. He told me his name was Joe, and I was just so excited to see somebody else out there like myself feeding the homeless. So I didn't know he had a restaurant. Gave me the address of the restaurant, and I brought my son over there. My son said, "Do you know who that is?" He said, "That's Abdullah the butcher." And I said, "Who is that?" Because I'm not into wrestling. Abdullah was his hero.
Your son liked all the bad guys.
He loved the bad guys, yes.
Abdullah was the best heel that the world ever saw. Even picture in my head now, just the way he stands, the way he moved around the ring, and the things he did. To see a whole crowd of people move back. He could walk through an aisle and people would run from him. And when he come through that ring, people go, uh-oh, here come Abdullah. It got so, it wasn't a gimmick.
He was in character most of the time, especially when we went in public. I remember seeing a flight attendant go over to him, and as soon as Abdullah saw that flight attendant, his eyes bugged out, his mouth started watering, and she tried to like get his beverage order and just walked away. I was like, "Abby, you okay?" He goes, "Gotta protect the character, champ. Gotta protect the character." And that's what he would do. And so in his own way, he would create this grassroots campaign for the authenticity of his character.
When he went into the ring with any wrestler, he made them a good wrestler.
If you fight Abdullah, you fought Abdullah, you got over. People knew you the next day.
They got like a crown on their head because they're wrestling one of the best.
That's why I say Abdullah made Carlos Colon. Abdullah made Tony Mr. USA Atlas. Everybody that fought Abdullah became a big star.
Here comes Clark. There goes Kevin Malay. Duty battle continues between Abdullah and Kevin Van Erich.
Here he is with a big karate thrust to the head of the Dirty Dutchman tail.
What really made Abdullah was the time in Japan. In Japan, during that time, wrestling was still about 70% real. If you got a karate kick in Japan, it was a real karate kick. You got chopped in Japan, it was a real chop. The only thing that was fake in Japan was who won and who lost. He was on the cover of all these magazines. They had billboards of Abdullah, pictures of Abdullah.
He was what I call crazy over. Like, he was an iconic part of Japanese culture.
Your throat, that's fine. Doesn't bother me at all.
As crazy as this might sound, he recorded an album in Japan, in the dressing room.
My name is Abdullah the Butcher. I'm gonna do all these crazy things to you. My own family hates me because I'm too vicious.
They never seen nothing like me. I was different. They only seen the wrestling, That was it. I was different.
Having found success with the hardcore style he adapted from the Sheik, Abdullah becomes a mentor to wrestler Devin Nicholson. But this long-term friendship will end in disaster.
I actually ended his career. Retired him in the ring, retired him out of the ring. My name is Devin Nicholson, and my wrestling name was Hannibal.
There will be no more Abdullah after the trace up.
This dude is a weirdo.
No class, no idea how to dress.
Starting his career with Stampede Wrestling in 2001, Devin begins working under the name Madman Hannibal and soon launches his own indie promotion, Great North Wrestling. In 2006, he begins working with Abdullah.
Before all the negative stuff happened, I actually considered him somewhat of a mentor, and I would say he was the first wrestler to take me under his wing a bit. and teach me about how to get heat and stuff. We ended up tag teaming and wrestling each other numerous times.
I used to work for him.
Right, like you guys were friends, weren't you?
Yeah, I used to fly into Toronto or whatever, and we had shows. He'd come out to Calgary, Alberta. We'd have shows. You understand?
Abdullah, you think I'm not ready for you? I'm gonna catch you in your last match in Canada.
There will be some people that will always hate.
This dude is a weirdo.
Hate me for exposing him, but whatever. I don't care.
He's a fucking weirdo.
I
That's all I can say. Like, this guy's a fucking piece of shit weirdo. I don't know what the fuck is this dude's deal, but he just
already
looks
68
off.
years old and 6 decades into his career, Abdullah returns to Canada to wrestle Hannibal in what's being billed as his retirement match.
I remember my first experience of Abdullah. My grandmother was actually somewhat of a wrestling fan, and I remember she let me rent a wrestling movie called I Like to Hurt People.
Against the butcher from the Sudan, Abdullah the Butcher.
And I just remember thinking, how did they make this blood effect? You didn't really know how they did blood in those days. I'll probably have to edit this. And I know Bret Hart would put it in his mouth, he said, but I was always afraid to do that. So then you would take the blade and put it like there and tape over top. And then when it comes time to bleed, you'd pull it out. And then, I'm not gonna do it, I'm not Abdullah, but you'd slice down like that.
Now, for me to hit myself, I would hit myself like this. You see it?
I was around Abdullah a lot, and you never actually see him do the deed. The blood would arrive as if, by magic.
Abdullah had razor blades on all his fingers. First he cuts you with the razor blade.
And what does he got? He's got a fork.
And then he would take the fork and scrape it across it to make it bigger so it could bleed more. And he actually would stick that.
You not hitting me with the fork, bro. I don't know what niggas was thinking. I know that shit gimmick, bro, but like, you gotta act like you. Listen, bro. Oh man, these niggas is weird, boy. Like, I'm sorry, but you not about to know, bro. Like, yo, bro, there's a reason. All right, so when I heard the first, title of the story, Dark Side of the Ring, Abdullah the Butcher, Legacy of Blood. Like, oh my fucking God. This is, for what, bro? Like, why? What's the fucking point of the fork? I get it. You can't have a butcher knife, but god damn. You're not about to scrape a fucking fork across, you know what I mean?
Fork, we're sticking with that fork too. He's like stabbing you in the head with that fork. Hurt like hell.
Yeah, all right.
That's Abdullah the Butcher.
He would cut you deep.
Well, did anybody ever complain about being cut?
Not to Abdullah.
Now, what? Nigga, what? Hold on. Listen, bro. So this is what's going to happen, right? You going to hit me with a couple karate chops. I'm going to clothesline you. You going to power drive me. You going to do this. Bam. You know what? I think I'm going to cut myself. So, bam. I'm going to cut myself. Once you start seeing me bleed, you could pull the fork out. But we ain't doing that, bro. Then I'm going to come back. Boom. Hit you across the rows. Bang, leg drop. Come back. Do the you're going to almost catch me with the fork a couple times. You might scrape me one time, but you're going to act like it, bro, because we not doing that, bro. Either that or bro, I'm going to shoot you. That's it. I'm going to shoot you. Like, I'm not playing with you, bro. Stop playing with me.
Because, you see, in the older days, this
nigga went to prison, though. Like, what's that Jadakiss line? Life is like a walk in the yard, man. Niggas will stab you with a fork with the yard. Nigga, what? Stop playing, nigga.
God will tell you this. Suck it up.
Yeah, all right.
If you don't like it, you're in the wrong business, kid.
You gonna suck up these bullets?
There was no bitching and complaining in wrestling.
Sorry.
I didn't carry blade because I didn't juice every night. But this was part of these guys' gimmick.
Abdullah the Butcher.
Abdullah, Bruiser Brody, Dusty Roll.
Nope.
Abdullah blade every night. Every night. It's kind of like Ric Flair gotta have the roll. Well, Abdullah gotta have the blade.
Why did they call him Abdullah the Butcher? What does a butcher do? They take to make blood. They try to hurt you, to torture you.
Mm-hmm.
This guy here, he was rushed to the hospital, had 4 stitches in the back of the head, because this guy chopped him in the damn head and got cut. Don't think that this is all phony blood.
I get that.
Abdullah's intense bloodlust and unpredictable style keeps him from signing with the world's largest promotion, Vince McMahon's WWE.
See? Vince kind of knew that Abdullah was going to be very hard to be controlled. And I think that if you would even ask Abdullah, I don't think he even trusted himself because I don't think a lot of times he planned things.
We were going to have a tag team match in Ottawa, and before the match, we were appearing on a local television show called Rogers Daytime.
I just happened to have a fork right here. Huh? With the old,
And without this being planned or anything,
It's always a pleasure.
Thank you.
To be with you.
he put the male host in a headlock, walked the male host over to where there was going to be a cooking segment after. And then the guy started bleeding.
Settle! Back off! Are you gonna manage us Friday?
You know what?
You should come with me and come to the show on Friday.
It was the weirdest moment ever. The guy was like, I just remember him shaking like that. He was like going to shock almost. It was like a guy that obviously isn't used to bleeding or getting in fights or anything.
We'll be right back after this.
I think that was 2009. You couldn't even really get away with it then. It was a miracle he did, but you could see like how in the old days he could get away with stuff like that. But I think in 2022 it would be hard to assault a TV show host and get away with it. I think he was in his late 60s by then too, so it certainly helped.
After years on the independent circuit and mentorship from Abdullah, Hannibal finally achieves his own opportunity to wrestle for the WWE.
When I was signed by WWE, he actually screamed with joy because I guess since he never actually wrestled for them and it was kind of like someone that kind of represented him in a way was going to get in there.
But after a series of routine blood tests, Hannibal receives career-shattering news.
In my blood test, they found that the hepatitis C virus was present, and I was like, well, first of all, I was confused on like how I would have such a thing.
A lot of guys would use dirty razor blades, because everybody didn't carry blades. Until we say something like, "Hey, Abby, you got a blade I could use?" Then he gonna use the blade, and when you boil something, you got to do what? Give it back.
So let me get this straight. You motherfuckers is making all this money. Or making somewhat money, right? You're doing all of this. You're doing these shows. You're wrestling Abdullah the Butcher. And it's Abdullah the Butcher. And the motherfucker don't have like a box of fucking razor blades. I mean, he only bleeds every fucking night. Nobody said, yo, let me watch this nigga switch his blades out, right? Nobody said, yo. No. Okay. Weirdo. Then the motherfucker said, yo, can I use the blade? And then what you do when you get a blade? You give it back. Like, what? My nigga, if I'm giving you back a blade that I just cut another nigga with, I'm questioning this whole bro. This is while AIDS is going on because this is 85. I wonder, bro. I fucking wonder.
And they would give it back to Abdullah. So it was very easy for somebody to catch a disease because who knows where that blade came from or who they cut before they cut Hannibal.
Did it cross your mind at that point that it might have been Abdullah?
Yes, because there was no other way that I would have thought that I would have caught it, but I wasn't, like at this point.
But you wasn't getting pussy? You wasn't doing nothing else? You wasn't fucking bitches on their period? Nothing?
Evidence or anything?
At some point, you and this guy Hannibal were friendly with each other, right?
Yeah, we were good friends. I used to work for him. He was a promoter.
Right.
So, I don't know what happened, but I don't want to talk about this. I don't want to talk about it.
Shit is weird, bro. That's fucked up.
His career cut short by his hepatitis C diagnosis, Hannibal is desperate for answers.
I had a guy that was doing a documentary on me. It's called This Is Hannibal. We were hoping that it was going to be my journey to WWE movie, but it ended up just being like a sad movie.
Obviously, it didn't work out with the contracts. Got rescinded because I have hepatitis C.
So he was the one that actually saw the cutting incident, and he showed me the clip from the 2007 match. And he's like, what is Abdullah doing here?
I haven't even seen footage of the match, to be honest with you. I would love to see it.
You can see here he's cutting his own head with his razor blade that's taped to his finger, right where all the scars are on his forehead, what he's been doing for the past 50 years.
And you see him doing that to my forehead. So I'm like, he's blading me.
Oh my God, so 8 years managing him in different countries, I never saw him.
Let me tell you something, bro. He knew he was doing that. I don't give a fuck what you say. You're not just gonna just start bleeding out of nowhere. Yo, bro, this shit just makes no sense. And just watching it, like, I'm trying to react like as if like I didn't watch this 3 fucking times. But man, you can hear the bullshit, bro.
Doing that to another guy. And if that's the case, wow.
Many local news stations saw my movie and did their own stories on it. Because Ottawa, I don't think ever had somebody that had made WWE. Ronald Kaza, one of the top lawyers in this area, saw the case, and with his skill as a lawyer, he was able to basically force Abdullah to provide his blood test. According to his blood work, there's a history of Hep C, so you would think that he knew, but whether he knew or not, he should have known it's dangerous to cut someone with a razor blade with blood on it.
The footage of Abdullah cutting Hannibal with a used razor blade and the results of Abdullah's blood test form the basis of a lawsuit filed by Hannibal. A lawsuit that Abdullah claims he couldn't read or understand.
I was getting a lot of letters, right? What am I gonna do? Open it up? I don't know what the hell it says.
Yeah, right. Shut the fuck up.
If it wasn't for Malika, no. I'd really be in bad shape.
You in bad shape, brother.
And he sat me down. He said, sit down, Malika. But he told me he didn't know how to read and write, and he cried like a baby. Mm-hmm. A big, huge man like this crying. I never seen a man cry like that. That's when I understood what was going on in his life. And he would ask me to open his mail and read it to him. And after I looked through it, it included the court case with Devon Nicholson. I don't know anything about that.
My sister called me and said,
bitch, you are his caregiver. I've had multiple caregiver friends. You're supposed to motherfucking give them everything. You're supposed to take them to their appointments, go shopping for them, clean their house, do all the shit that they cannot do. That means read their mail, get their mail. That means that doesn't even mean read their mail. That means give their mail to them. If they don't read it, handle that. You have to know their appointments. You got to do all of that shit. So, bitch, what are you doing? What are you doing? Like, hold on. Like, this nigga put you in his house. You in the crib. You doing all of this random shit. You know, basically, you fucked a nigga. He took you to the restaurant and y'all niggas met like that. Like, so what, like, how are you a caregiver and this man is in this position? He's about to say right now that his sister told him he lost the case. Bitch, where the fuck was you this whole fucking, how you even know? You not even saying, I didn't know you had a case. You saying, yo, you lost the case. So you know that your brother, the nigga that put y'all niggas on y'all feet, that gave y'all niggas some type of light. I don't know how, I don't know the relationship, but you here talking he could rip fucking phone books apart and all of this shit and how proud of you niggas are. One of you bitches know how to read. None of y'all niggas is taking care of your brother. None of y'all niggas is taking care of your brother's financial situations or court situations or anything. So that's why I say all of this shit is bullshit, because even though he might have not had people doing it for him, he had people around him that knew the shit. And then he, you know, this caregiver is just like mad fucking weird, bro. Like, how are you around and you do nothing? You just around. You know what I mean? Like, shit is weird, bro.
Said, you lost the case in Toronto. I said, what? And it was default. That's what, because I didn't show up. And that was it.
When you aspire to be a professional wrestler, this is how you celebrate a legal victory.
He ended up losing in court in both Ontario and Georgia. And he was found guilty of negligence, assault, and battery. He either knew or should have known that he had Hep C, which Abdullah still denies, even though he provided the blood tests.
Court documents show that Abdullah carries the same rare strain of hepatitis C as Hannibal. In the years that follow, Abdullah makes a range of claims, including the allegation that it was Hannibal who gave the disease to him. After the Canadian judge sees the video evidence, coupled with the confirmation that both men share the same rare strain of Hep C, the courts side with Hannibal.
It's very good to...
How is that even legal to even do this? Like, I thought wrestling was like an independent contract situation where it's like enter at your own risk, right? Like how is this even like legal to do, man? Like, seriously.
I have that on the record after all these years of being called a liar.
Devin Nicholson was
You're a piece of shit. That's what you are.
$3 million in damages.
No, I don't think they should pay. No, not that much. No.
He shouldn't pay at all.
Nothing.
Exactly.
I wouldn't have sued him. When you get into a certain profession, you know, you're taking a risk. Hannibal could have done it himself. That's what the guys told me. Tony, he don't change his blade. Do it yourself. He let Abdullah cut him. He could have cut himself, but he was scared to cut himself, so he got somebody else do it. And it cost him.
He's a piece of shit, bro. Hannibal's a piece of fucking shit, and I would love to tell him.
In dire financial
straits,
straits,
a fucking piece
Abdullah
of shit.
continues to make wrestling-related appearances and autograph signings. Hannibal claims that Abdullah has moved around his assets in order to avoid paying him, and to this day, the matter is still in front of the courts.
He's never paid anything. Hasn't paid a penny.
Nah, I don't think he have it.
I want you all to look at this. This is...
Alright, remember when in the beginning I said pay attention to this caregiver shit and the shit that I was just saying like 2 minutes ago? This bitch is a piece of shit. Like, I don't give a fuck what his house look like, bitch. Why does his house look like this? Even if you his friend, bitch, you have enough nerve to take pictures and show the motherfucking world what his house looks like. What are you doing about it? And if you're gonna show the world what the fucking shit look like, why the fuck you just didn't bring the shit to the situation anyways? Why is this nigga not on Section 8? He got the best everything. Like, the fuck out of here. First of all, this nigga's doing motherfucking signings around the world and doing shout outs for $100. You know what I mean? Or I don't know if that was just the fuck nigga that told me that. But yeah, I know that this nigga was making money because he made a couple thousand going over here at the AIW shit. I'm sure of it. Get the fuck out of here, yo. Listen, this shit right here, this shit is a scam right here. This shit is like, all of these motherfuckers is pieces of shit. Hannibal, Abdullah, fucking all of these motherfuckers. You could tell every single one of these motherfuckers are real pieces of shits.
It's dangerous. It's stuff that you have ever seen. Look at this.
Oh boy.
He has no money to repair none of this. Now this is a light fixture where the water is coming down. This is electrical. Listen.
This is how his house is right now, currently.
Right now, currently. That's why I didn't allow you all to come back there.
That's just weird, buddy.
Oh, I am stressed. I'm stressed. I've never had blood pressure until I got moved into his house.
Until I got with him.
But it's worth it when you see someone being taken advantage as him.
Bitch.
He built a career.
Cause you taking advantage of him too. You sucking the last bit of the fucking. Yo, people are wild, bro. Like, wild. She's doing crocodile tears and everything for your boy. Hey, listen. Bitch, if you gotta play the part, man, to get that motherfucking bed at night, shorty, you gotta do what you gotta do. Outside.
Should have went to school. Should have went to school to learn how to read.
You be alright, bro.
Right.
You still making more money and enjoying it.
Money.
Yeah.
But I needed more than that. I got shafted.
No.
All the tapes, what I made for many, many years, got nothing.
Nah, you got
whatever
something
he's
you
going
just
through, whatever he's
blew
going through,
that
that was
shit.
all his anyways. I don't want to say too much. I just tell her that's the truth. My brother, don't worry, but my brother he's a very nice person, but people play games with him.
Are you aware that he says that he can't read or write? Did he ever tell you that he can't read or write?
No, and I've seen him order at restaurants, reading menus. I've seen letters from him. I've seen him sign autographs. He's owned several businesses over the years and been involved with large wrestling contracts with companies like WCW and
that read or write shit is bullshit. All right, I understand that. You know what I mean. The read or write shit. Listen, I learned how to read at 25. Okay. I really never paid attention to school. I keep it 1,000. I really got by in school by, like, the answers are literally the same in the book. You know what I mean? It's like, it's there, bro. If you search it, it's going to be on the test and that's going to be the answer. You know what I mean? There's ways, there's cheat codes to fucking, but I literally learned how to read in jail. So fucking, I get it, but I know for a fact that you dealing with all of this money because there's nobody in this motherfucker now one time that said this nigga got shafted into getting his money took. Yeah, he was doing shows that he thought he was doing $1 million or $10,000 and it was only getting $1,000 or $100 or something like that. Nah, you didn't hear that. You heard, yo, boy got all his money. He knew how to hustle. So, nigga, if you knew how to hustle, nigga, you knew how to read. I'm sorry, bro. Because let me tell you something. When it's time to sign them motherfucking contracts, boy, those words come together, man. I'm telling you now, brother. I'm just saying. Niggas know what? You knew words, motherfucker. You knew numbers, you knew words. I'm just saying.
In Japanese companies.
So he can't read or write?
You traveling, you doing all of that shit?
But he'd find ways, like, if they told him, like, to go to a chicken farm or something like that, he'd draw a picture of a chicken.
I don't mean this to be humorous, but like he knew how to read a menu. You know, like we would eat out 3 times a day. He never had an issue. I don't know if that's the case. If it is,
that wasn't the
it's
case.
Just it's an accolade for him to be that successful around the world without that ability. But I don't know. I've only recently heard that.
That's like a shock to me, because
nobody believes
made
that shit, bro.
Great business.
Nobody believes that
transactions. Shit. Even in a check, you have to write it.
Exactly.
I did not know that, and 8 years we travel a lot, spend a lot of time together, and that is a shock to me. If that is a guy of a 2nd grade education, wow. That whoever was the teacher, we gotta find him or her and honor that person, because that teacher did a lot.
Abdullah the Butcher himself getting stitched up right here.
The punishing style of hardcore wrestling has a long legacy, but it often comes at great personal cost for those involved.
Abdullah and Carlos Colon invented a match with a chain going right across the ring, and they were hooked to it. And even with the rain, a storm, you could still see just all the blood coming down. It was horrendous, but for the fans, it was just devastating, the punishment that they inflicted on each other.
We felt invincible, and they trained you to feel invincible.
At those times, we would put the blood of their opponent as part of being a heel and suck the blood out of your opponent's head. When I talk about it right now, I see the expressions on the new generation, like, what the heck were you guys thinking?
No, motherfucker. It's not the look on the new generation. Because even when you was doing it, motherfuckers was looking at you like, what the fuck is wrong with you? You know what I mean? Like what the fuck, bro? God damn, bro.
But, back then, it was a whole different world.
Anytime you watch something, even if you watch a movie picture or something like that, they always have violence in it, right?
Facts.
You have like the cops and the robbers, you have this and stuff like that. It's always violence.
Damn.
And if you don't give the people violence, they don't come and see you.
In a twist of fate in 2021, 7 years after his own court battle, Hannibal finds himself at the center of his own controversy by brutalizing a referee.
They were looking for someone to bleed from the spike, so the promoter found this referee that was a known bleeder to take the spike. It hit him several times and it did some damage.
What?
The promoter for that show did not have any medics on site. It went on longer than it should have. Like, it was bad communication all around.
Guy, the referee, he ended up getting an infection. His head was, mutilated.
I was appalled. I saw the dude's head with, a dozen different gaffs with staples in his head. And I'm just like, what in the heck happened here? Why have charges not been pressed? Why is this guy not in jail?
I'm so fucking confused on what the fuck is this dude's deal. I obviously he was having a fucking roid rage, and fucking he was just enjoying himself a little too much. You could tell in his fucking videos, this dude is fucking retarded. I'm gonna let y'all niggas know the real spill once all this is over. But it's like he is the biggest fucking piece of shit. Hannibal is such a piece of shit. It's ridiculous. Like, the biggest piece of shit ever, man.
Even your story is saying you were recklessly, dangerously careless and damn near killed this guy because you're just sloppy. And if we believe that he got mad and actually attacked this guy with a spike, it's like, you should be in jail. You should never be booked to wrestle again. This is not good for the business. This isn't 1960 where we're going to convince somebody that he's the madman from the Sudan that attacked somebody with a spike. There's no place for that in the industry anymore.
Oh my God, that even makes no sense. I mean, you just were in a situation and wow, strange things do happen, because what are the chances that you win a court case and now you're gonna do that to a referee? Crazy.
Piece of shit. That's all I gotta say.
To this day, Abdullah's legal problems haunt him, and the hepatitis C controversy has tainted the legacy of his legendary career.
I know it was horrendous to hear, because you never want to hear that somebody did this to another guy. But then you also wonder, because in my case, I was around him in bloody matches, you know, and Carlos Colon and other guys, but none of us tested, you know, positive to that.
Hannibal eventually finds an experimental treatment that cures him of his hepatitis C, but his bitterness remains.
Is there anything that he could do to make this right?
Yes. I mean, start paying what you can, and take some responsibility for what you did. You've been found guilty in both Canada and the U.S., but you never apologized for anything. And yeah, it's just been a nightmare situation. But I would never expect that from him. So all I can do is move on, which I have been doing. I'll be honest. Talking about this situation, I mean, this is hopefully the last time I'll have to talk about it. It was a terrible period of my life, and
you're a piece of fucking shit, bro. Holy God.
Because the lawsuit is argued in a civil trial, the judge found Abdullah the Butcher liable, but not guilty, of causing Hannibal's hepatitis C.
This is the Hall of Fame, and all these wrestlers here, these are the old ones. They're probably all dead now. They're all in the Hall of Fame with Abdullah the Butcher. Well, I put it this way, all my family is his biggest fan. He done good. And I hate to say this, there's a lot of good wrestlers, and I put it this way, he's one of the best.
Listen, bro, if you're my biggest fan, bro, fuck you, bro. I'm just saying.
Being around our next inductee always made me a little nervous. This is a man who took hardcore to another level. Take a look.
In 2011, Abdullah the Butcher is inducted into the WWE's Hall of Fame.
When I found out I was going to be in the Hall of Fame, I says, I don't believe it until they booked me there, you know. And Terry Funk was the one who put me over strong, you know, said nice things about me. You know, he said, whatever people say about Abdullah the Butcher, he made these promoters a lot of money.
I cried because I know the story that to be what he became, he paid the price. And yes, he made the money, but it wasn't easy being Abdullah the Butcher.
What's missing in wrestling today is the idea that an opponent is fighting for something bigger than a title or a victory. They're fighting for their lives. That's what he brought to the table, and I don't know if anyone ever did it better than Abdullah the Butcher.
I never seen anybody that the fan was actually afraid of. They was afraid of him. And I never saw that with anybody.
I think he should be remembered for his greatness. His greatness because he is the god of wrestling. Whoa. Not the negative, you know, just one little situation and it's not proven. He didn't get a chance to prove his innocence. I don't care if they take everything he owns. I would never turn my back on a man of greatness.
Shut the fuck
Such
up.
Such greatness.
Shut the fuck up,
He's gonna be okay.
Shut the fuck up.
Long
you
after
are
you're gone,
a
what would you
funny
like
guy,
people to think when
bro.
they hear the name Abdullah the Butcher?
just to give me the respect for what I done. And a lot of things people say I done, I did not do. You know what I mean? And that's all I can say. Whatever you want to think, I'll leave it up to you.
Right. Alright, so after doing my research, I just, basically, the whole moral of the story is that everybody in this is a piece of shit. But, seriously, after doing my research, it was basically a promoter that was paying a wrestler. Usually that's what people do, they pay the legends to, help them, get their push, blase blah. Dude was paying them. Abdullah was milking them. He was getting them for everything he could. Now, I'm not going to say Abdullah wasn't the reason that he got the hep C. But what I'm saying is, how is it that Abdullah didn't get nobody else came forward but you with it, right? You got your little WWE contract, and from what I've heard, it was a developmental contract. It wasn't even a real contract, right? And then you got cut because of this situation, and I feel like he was just too embarrassed to say, yo, I had hep C, and I feel like he might have gave it to Abdullah. That's what I personally feel, and he knew that he didn't have the, maybe the smarts or the money or the situation to really defend himself, and he figured he could just, that was prey. Caregiver is she's a clear leech. She's clearly leeching off a boy, because there's no way that as a female, if you fucking with me, even if you just fucked me back in the days and now, I'm your sugar daddy or whatever, bitch, you living with me. That means, that means you're supposed to be in this with me. So you're supposed to make sure that I'm good and our living situation is good. Especially because you living with me. But, everybody's doing wrong in here. Everybody, I don't feel like Abdullah should pay anything to Hannibal. I feel like Hannibal is the biggest piece of shit in fucking wrestling. He's a has-been that didn't fucking make it, and he was a never was, and he tried to tarnish the legacy of a man that had pretty much nothing after everything. You know what I mean? And yeah, I'm sure there's no angels or anything to this, but I feel like, Hannibal's a piece of shit. He's the biggest piece of shit. Then goes the caretaker, and then goes, Abdullah. But this is the dark side of the ring with Abdullah the Butcher, Legacy of Blood. And this is the High Flying Podcast, where we be drop kicking it with the boys. So make sure to body slam that like, share, and subscribe button, or I will have to hit you with a fork across the fucking forehead. And I'm not playing. Make sure the motherfuckers subscribe to the channel. Biggie Bag everything on every social media. Please tune in. I know these shits is lagging. I don't know if it's because we don't have the rights to really show them or whatnot. But it is what it is. I love these things. This is my third time. So that's why I was able to do all the research and everything like that. I watched it 3 times fully and was able to do my commentary between time and the meantime, so it was pretty good. But yeah, man, let me know what you think in the comment section. Please definitely let me know what you think of the channel. And we're going to just keep doing what we do, man. So, this is the High Flying Podcast. I am Biggie Bag Johnny, and you know what time it is, man. Holla at your motherfucking boy.